The U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent has faced intense questioning from the Senate Appropriations Committee on Wednesday this week. The hearing focused on foreign policy deals and rising domestic costs from the Iran war. Senator Chris Coons pressed Bessent on why the U.S. waived sanctions, which benefited Russian and Iranian oil interests. Lawmakers also questioned whether recent moves had provided a windfall to American adversaries. That led to a heated exchange where Scott Bessent demanded proof of these claims. Take a look.
Do you disagree that Iran has received significant additional revenue from their sales of oil because of sanctions relief?
I couldn't disagree more.
Okay. Do you disagree that Russia has received significant additional revenue from the sanctions relief?
I couldn't disagree more.
Okay. Why did you relieve the sanctions against Russian and Iranian oil?
Think of it this way, sir. There's the Strait of Hormuz.
Familiar with it.
There is oil to the
left and to the right.
There is to the right. The Treasury was able to, just as you are concerned about gasoline prices for the American consumer and for our Asian allies, as are we, Treasury was able to create the more than 250 million barrels on the water. And the way to think about this is, as I came in today, the oil prices are at $100. If we had not done that sanctions relief, they might have been at $150 because the world became very well supplied. So if Russia was selling their oil at a 20% discount, I can tell you that 100% of 100 is less than 80% of 150, and the American consumer has been better off.
Now, remember, Scott Bessent also touted the administration's commitment to targeting illicit actors while simultaneously facing criticism for perceived leniency in certain international arenas.
I would like to tell you that was as a result. Last week was Bank Week, World Bank, and IMF Week. And on Wednesday, it was my belief we would not do it. I was approached by more than 10 of the most vulnerable and poorest countries in terms of energy, and they asked us to extend that sanction, and it's only for 30 days.
Senator Chris Van Hollen challenged Bessent over Trump's business dealings in the UAE, specifically a controversial $500 million investment from a UAE-linked entity into a Trump family business. Senator Hollen pressed Bessent on whether this investment influenced the administration's recent proposal to provide the UAE with a currency swap line. Bessent pushed back, asserting that the swap lines are a standard tool to maintain order in the dollar funding markets. He also denied any connection between the president's private business deals and federal policy. The Treasury Secretary disclosed that several Gulf and Asian allies have requested currency swap lines with the U.S. to manage economic stability.
Senator, I would dispute much of what you earlier said and any linkages to this swap line. Many of our Gulf allies have requested swap lines. You would have just read about the UAE, and swap lines, whether it's from the Federal Reserve or the Treasury, are to maintain order in the dollar funding markets and to prevent the sale of the U.S. assets in a disorderly way. So the swap line would both benefit the UAE and the U.S. And as I said, numerous other countries, including some of our Asian allies, have also requested them.
Now let's look at what exactly a currency swap is. A currency swap is an agreement between two countries' central banks or treasury departments to exchange currencies. In this case, the US dollar for the UAE dirhams for a fixed period. This allows the UAE to quickly access dollars, which are critical for global trade, debt payments, and stabilizing financial markets. In times of crisis, such arrangements act as a financial safety net, helping prevent currency volatility, liquidity shortages, and broader economic instability.